Well, welcome everyone. Typically on my podcast, I have people that are way smarter than me. So sticking with that theme, we invited Sam on the call. Sam, why are you here, and what are you going to tell us today?
Hi, Patrick. So, yeah, I'm here today to talk to you about something that we actually announced a few months ago, and a new offering which Zoom are doing, which is called our AI services. So, I'm going to talk to you today about something really exciting and really fun called APIs.
I think that people are almost too inundated with hearing about all the AI features that every SaaS provider puts out there. So much so that users almost feel fatigued by AI. But that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, because this is completely different than what we think of when we think of AI as a user, isn't it?
It is, yes, but it is actually crucial. And most companies, most organizations know how crucial it is. And that's why I think what we're bringing out now and what we've produced now is really on point. And what we have released now is our Zoom AI services, which is our core AI functionality as an API, which you can just consume on a credit basis and put into your own workflows. Now, these what we've released, they're not new as such to Zoom because we use them every day. So let me talk around what we have actually released so you can
Yeah.
sort of understand it. So at Zoom, we already use things like transcription of our meetings. We're using translation, closed captions, especially translated captions. That's very useful for us here in EMEA. We're also using things like AI summaries, where we can get a summary of our meetings at the end of the day and really get that value out of the summaries rather than having to type up our notes and do all this. And these AI services are designed to completely go for workflows outside of Zoom.
Yeah.
So it's really strange when I talk to customers because I'm like, right, okay, we've just spoke to you about Zoom for ages now. Please step away from Zoom. Things like training modules, things like broadcasting solutions, where you may need the ability to transcribe data, or you may need the facility to translate it. And this is what we've done. These set of APIs are designed to be able to give that functionality for things outside of Zoom. One example, let's go away from meetings, because again, this is not really inside of Zoom. Let's think of your podcasts for one. You know, how many podcasts you've done. If you had transcriptions of all your podcasts, and then say, your fan base wanted to know, oh, I remember Patrick talking about contact center at Zoom, and it was a really good talk, but I cannot remember when it was. They
Yeah.
could use an AI agent and they could search, find the transcript, and even point back to that podcast. You've got that intelligence on the back of it as well. So I think it's really key that transcriptions play a part in getting that data out of your audio and also your videos.
You said it earlier too, and I'm going to keep back in on it, is that all this valuable data that we're recording, that we're summarizing, that's great for during the meeting. What's even better is that what Zoom is doing is we're actually utilizing that information after the meeting and then before the next meeting to create context based on the data that we created during the meeting, because not a lot of work gets done during the meeting. Work gets done before and after the meeting. And I have to use that data from the meeting to then finish or resolve or start work before and after. I think that's kind of where you're going with that a little bit.
And that is the key phrase we hear a lot at Zoom is call to completion. So
Yeah.
it's not just about getting that data, it's about completing your tasks after and be able to do a full end-to-end life cycle and automate more.
I do a lot of demos for customers on the simple things like transcription, translation, meeting summaries, my notes. The reason I invited you here is because I want to take that up a little bit of a level. I want to escalate that conversation. So you told me earlier that you had some demos that I probably haven't seen and I probably can't do. What do you say to that?
Yeah, let me show you some. I always like to show what we've got. I think it's much better. But let's bring it to life. So the demo I've got is something that is actually available on our GitHub as well, which means that any developer can download it. It will look very similar to what I'm going to show you today, and they can actually use it and play with it. If they sign up to a free builder account, you can get, I think it's 50 free credits, so it's
Mm.
free to have a play. So I'm going to show you through our free available APIs. So you've got Scribe, Translator, and Summarizer. I'll start off with Scribe, transcriptions. That's what we spoke about most. And what this basically is, we give you two different methods, a fast method and also a batch. So fast, for example, you can upload a single file and you can send that single file through an API call. And what it will do is it will transcribe the actual content. And you can see here, this is just a small file I've uploaded for now, but you can see it does things like it does a natural segmented split on the conversation with timestamps.
Yeah.
So this is really good if you wanted to have the transcription next to your videos, so that you can see the different discussion points within your videos. We also have things like channel separation if you have different audio channels, and we're about to release diarization, so you can actually split by speakers as well. Have like speaker one has said this, and then it will pick up speaker two, which is really quite useful. And this is all using APIs, which returns in JSON format, which is the standard format to implement into most normal workflows or everyday workflows. So that's our fast one. So it's a single file, upload straight away, and get a transcript within seconds. And it can handle up to a 300 meg file or a 2 hour in length within under 10 seconds.
Gotcha.
Is what we aim for. So it is fast. And then we have our batch. Now, the way our batch works is it's linked currently to AWS, so like an S3 bucket. So think of something like a broadcasting company who have thousands of files that they may need to transcribe, or even legacy phone may have thousands of recordings that they need to transcribe in order to get that content out. So we give you the option to do it in batches. And this works as a sort of job. So you upload your S3 location, and what it will do is it will then begin a job. And you can see things like the status of the job. You're able to see the files that it's actually, whether it's succeeded. And we give lots of settings around how you can do your batch as well. So you could do a single file. You can do an actual directory. So pick an S3 directory, or alternatively a manifest, so a list of different files, up to 1,000 files.
And that's something I don't know if people caught previously. In the beginning, we were talking about just Zoom stuff, right? Zoom meetings and Zoom meeting summaries. You're talking about stuff that isn't even related to Zoom, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I'm talking about the stuff completely out of Zoom, because we already do all this in Zoom. We transcribe and we summarize and translate for you. Whereas there's other workflows. So training platforms where you may have endless amount of training videos. If you were to transcribe all them, you can then again get the context and search the context in a more better way and a more meaningful way to actually find the information that you want out of that training platform.
I think that's a hard thing for people to do, is people are so myopic when it comes to, oh, that's Zoom, that's meetings. You're right. It is meetings, but we've increased that portfolio of what we can do exponentially over the last, I would say, 10 years.
Yeah, we have. And like I say, we've been doing this transcription for years. We really pride ourselves that we are one of the leaders in the quality of our transcription. We go by a Hugging Face, an external report, and we are currently around fourth on the Hugging Face tables with the lowest word error rate, which beats a lot of competitors like Microsoft and Amazon and some of the other big players in the field. Our accuracy is there. And of course, because it's proven, because you need it for your meetings, all of our customers need it for our meetings. So it's already tried and tested. But transcription has to be word for word accurate. You know, if you wanted to use it in like a court case, transcribing a court case, word for word accuracy. And again, we have been using these models for Zoom meetings with lots of different data, mainly internal data, because we don't train our models on external data. I'll just add that one there. But we're already training our models to handle bad microphones and to be able to really understand the transcription, because that we can offer, and we're also very price competitive.
I like this demo, a single file MP, you had an MP3 there, and then a directory of files. I could see how this would save a lot of workflows, a lot of time. What else you got for me?
What else have I got? So what else we've got is Translator. So this allows you to put any text in and translate it into any one of our 9 languages we currently have.
Mhm.
We are going to expand these. Zoom can translate up to 50 plus languages. So we will be incorporating those languages as well at some point. So what I'll do, I'll show you a example of translating. So I'll put in some standard text on AI and I'm going to translate it to Spanish. How is your Spanish?
It's almost as good as my English, which is horrible.
Well, unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish, but I have checked all of this with our Spanish colleagues, and the quality is fantastic. So again, the way we do it, all the responses come in JSON, and
Mm.
you can see it's in a standard format where you get the translated text. We have, again, batch and fast. So you can have a lot of text files that you maybe need to translate. And you can again link them to your S3 bucket in order to do multiple. And then our final one, which we've got at the moment, is our summarizer. So here I've got just a basic call transcript, and I'm going to do a full summary. And what this will do is this will summarize it into a recap, a summary, and action items. So once you can do it, it summarizes. And so you can also split into a recap or action items or just the summary, or you can have it all. And as you can see in the JSON response, you get the full summary. You can see the model and it splits it out into the recap. So this is very similar to what you might have seen in our AI summaries. But going forward, we are going to look at more focused summaries. So things like clinical notes potentially, or alternative verticals that may want more of a detailed or specific type of summary.
Gotcha. Now, I'm going to venture into other maybe unknown things that we didn't talk about. I am in North America, where data sovereignty is a big deal. It's not a giant deal like it is where you live.
Absolutely. Sovereignty is quite a key factor on a lot of people's table at the moment. And one thing we are looking at doing, and you may have heard some announcements at Zoom about our AI on-prem, is we
Mm.
are also looking at moving these APIs with an on-prem version as well, so that we can be more sovereignty and sensitive towards sovereignty. So I think the on-prem offering is going to be really key for some of these local governments or institutions that have to have it in region and ensure that it stays on
Yeah.
a clip on it. Yeah, and I mean to add as well, even without having an on-prem version, we do still have the ability to move these in in region on our local data
Yeah.
centers. So we have a European data center, a Saudi data center that we can actually move these onto as well. So they are closer. And of course, because these are APIs, we don't store any of this information that's sent to us. It comes to us for milliseconds for us to process and to ensure that we have a short cache in case there's a network latency.
Yeah.
And once it's sent off, it's gone. Zoom does not store this information, so it is all the customer's data. We do.
Okay. I loved Zoomly Academy. Um, Now, if I'm a customer, I'm interested in something like this. Who do I talk to? Where do I go?
Where do you go? So the first place I would suggest you go is to our developer homepage, where you can actually sign up for a builder account. If you go to developers.zoom.us, and I think a lot of our customers don't realize the whole Zoom developer portal that we have and the offerings that we have for developers.
Yeah.
So we have it, we have these AI services which you can now go, and if you get your build account, your developer build account, which you can sign up for some free credits online. But it's not just AI services. We have things like private co-browse. We have video SDK where you can take Zoom's video conferencing power and put that into your own applications without having an actual looking like Zoom. It's just completely your own end-to-end video experience.
Samantha, I want to take a moment and say thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And I, of course, learned something from people that are smarter than me.
Thank you for having me, and hope you've enjoyed seeing AI services. I'm very excited to see lots of customers sign up and hear their use cases.
I can't wait. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in to the Tattooed Nerd.